Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? Welcome to another episode of Bible Study with Tina. My name is Tina Falade, and today we're going to be studying the book of Genesis, chapters 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36. In the past, we've studied the previous books, taking them 6 chapters daily and we've done 5 episodes, which ended at chapter 30, and today is the sixth episode. So stay tuned and let us study the Word of God together. Okay, so I'm going to start with chapter 31, which says, Now Jacob heard the words of Laban's sons, saying, Jacob has taken away all that was our father's, and from what was our father's, he has acquired all this wealth. And Jacob sought the countenance of Laban, and indeed it was not favorable towards him as before. Then the Lord said to Jacob, Return to the land of your fathers and to your family, and I will be with you. So here God is instructing Jacob to go back to meet Isaac, his father, and his mom, and every other person from his original family, which he fled from decades prior to now. So now we go to verse 4, which says, So Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field, to his flock, and said to them, I see your father's countenance, that is not favorable towards me as before. But the God of my father has been with me. And you know that with all my heart I have served your father. Yet your father has deceived me and changed my wages 10 times. But God did not allow him to hurt me. So when Jacob said, Yet your father has deceived me and changed my wages 10 times, the change did not mean increase. It seems like the change means wages were reduced, because deception and change connotated negative occurrences. Okay? So that was what verse 7 says. He said, Yet your father has deceived me and changed my wages 10 times, but God did not allow him to hurt me. That means Laban has not been fair to Jacob all this while. So verse 8, if he said thus, the speckled shall be your wages, then all the flocks bore speckled. And if he said thus, the streaked shall be your wages, then all the flocks bore streaked. So God had taken away the livestock of your father and given them to me, which is obviously not Jacob's fault. It is what Laban said that is collecting. However, whenever Laban said, you will get streaked lambs, all the lambs will start giving birth to strict, all the sheep will start giving birth to strict lambs, and they will become his. So it wasn't his fault that God was favoring him in the house of Laban. So verse 10 says, And it happened at the time when the flocks conceived, that I lifted my eyes and saw in a dream, and behold, the rams which leaped upon the flock were streaked, speckled, and grey spotted. Then the angel of God spoke to me in a dream, saying, Jacob. And I said, Here I am. And he said, Lift up your eyes now and see. All the rams which leap on the flock are streaked, speckled, and grey spotted, for I have seen all that Laban is doing to you. Imagine, even God saw that Laban was being unfair to Jacob. So verse 13, I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed the pillar, and where you made a vow to me. Now arise, go out of this land, and return to the land of your family. Then Rachel and Leah answered and said to him, Is there still any portion or inheritance for us in our father's house? Are we not considered strangers by him? For he has sold us and also completely consumed our money. So Laban too was not fair to his daughters. He sold them to a man who was his nephew, sold them completely, using 7 years of hard work from the guy, and they practically do not have any inheritance with their father again. So verse 16 says, For all these riches which God has taken from our father are really ours and our children's. Now then, whatever God has said to you, do it. And I love this. The two women supported their husband, regardless of whether it was their father that was angry with him. So verse 17 says, Then Jacob rose and set his sons and his wives on camels, and he carried away all his livestock and all his possessions which he had gained. He acquired livestock which he had gained in Padan Aram, to go to his father Isaac in the land of Canaan. Now Laban had gone to shear his sheep, and Rachel had stolen the household idols that were her father's. And Jacob stole away, unknown to Laban, the Syrian. So the genealogy of Jacob came from Syria, from his mother's side. So that means Abraham too was a Syrian. And before he gave birth to uh, Jacob, before Jacob now became Israel, they were originally Syrians. So verse 21 says, so he fled with all that he had. He arose and crossed the river and headed towards the mountain of Gilead. And Laban was told on the third day that Jacob had fled, that he took his brethren with him and pursued him for 7 days' journey. Then he took his brethren with him, pursued him for 7 days' journey, and he overtook him in the mountains of Gilead. But God had come to Laban the Syrian in a dream by night and said to him, be careful that you speak to Jacob neither good nor bad. So Laban overtook Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the mountains, and Laban with his brethren pitched in the mountains of Gilead. And Laban said to Jacob, what have you done, that you have stolen away unknown to me, and carried away my daughters like captives taken by the sword? Why did you flee away secretly and steal away from me and not tell me? For I might have sent you away with joy and songs, with timbrel and harp. And you did not allow me to kiss my sons and my daughters. Now you have done foolishly in so doing. It is in my power to do you harm. But God, but the God of your father spoke to me last night, saying, be careful that you speak to Jacob neither good nor bad. And now you have surely gone because you greatly long for your father's house. But why did you steal my gods? Then Jacob answered and said to Laban, because I was afraid, for I said, perhaps you will take your daughters from me by force. With whom you find your gods, you do not let him live. In the presence of our brethren, identify what I have of yours and take it with you. For Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen them. And Laban went into Jacob's tent and into Leah's tent and into the two maids' tents, but he did not find them. Then he went into Leah's tent. We went out of Leah's tent and entered Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the household idols, put them in the camel's saddle, and sat on them. And Laban searched all about the tent, but did not find them. And she said to her father, let it not displease my lord, that I cannot rise from before you, for the manner of women is with me. And he searched, but did not find the household idols. Then Jacob was angry and rebuked Laban. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, what is my trespass? What is my sin? That you have so hotly pursued me. Although you have searched all my things, what part of your household things have you found? Set it here before me, my brethren and your brethren, that they may judge between us both. These 20 years I have been with you. Your ewes and your female goats have not miscarried their young, and I have not eaten the rams of your flock. That which was torn by beasts I did not bring to you. I bought the loss of it. You will require it from my hand, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. There I was in the day of the drought consumed in the day the drought consumed me, and frost by night, and my sleep departed from my eyes. Thus I have been in your house 20 years. I served you for 14 years for your two daughters, and 6 years for your flock, and you have changed my wages 10 times. Unless the God of my father, the God of Abraham, the fear of Isaac, had been with me, surely now you would have sent me away empty-handed. God has seen my affliction and the labor of my hands, and rebuked you last night. And Laban answered and said to Jacob, these daughters are my daughters, and these children are my children, and this flock is my flock. All that you see is mine. But what can I do this day to these my daughters, or to their children whom they have born? Now therefore, come, let us make a covenant, you and I, and let it be a witness between you and me. So Jacob took a stone and set it up as a pillar. Then Jacob said to his brethren, gather stones. And they took stones and made a heap, and they ate there on the heap. And Laban called it Jegar Sahadota, but Jacob called it Galeed. And Laban said, this heap is a witness between you and me this day. Therefore, its name shall be called Galeed. Also Mizpah, because he said, "May the Lord watch between you and me when we are absent one from another. If you afflict my daughters, or if you take their other wives beside my daughters, although no man is with us, see, God is witness between you and me." Then Laban said to Jacob, "Here is this heap, and here is this pillar, which I have placed between you and me. This heap is a witness, and this pillar is a witness, that I will not pass beyond this heap to you, and you will not pass beyond this heap and pillar to me for harm. The God of Abraham, the God of Nahor, and the God of their father judge between us." And Jacob swore by the fear of his father Isaac. Then Jacob offered the sacrifice on the mountain and called his brethren to eat bread. And they ate bread and stayed all night on the mountain. And early in the morning, Laban arose and kissed his sons and daughters and blessed them. Then Laban departed and returned to his place. That brings us to the end of 31. So 31 was about contention and the plan of Jacob fleeing from Laban because of the unfair treatment Laban had given him over the past 20 years. And now they have settled their quarrel, they have settled their score, and Laban left Jacob so that he can return to his father's house in peace. So now we move to chapter 32. So Jacob went on his way, and the angels of God met him. When Jacob saw them, he said, "This is God's camp." And he called the name of that place Mahanaim. Then Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother in the land of Seir, the country of Edom, and he commanded them, saying, "Speak thus to my lord Esau. Thus your servant Jacob says, I have dwelt with Laban and stayed there until now. I have oxen, donkeys, flocks, and male and female servants, and I have sent to tell my lord that I may find favor in your sight." Then the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, "We come to your brother Esau, and he also is coming to meet you, and 400 men are with him." So Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that were with him, and the flocks, and the herds, and camels, into two companies. And he said, "If Esau comes to one company and attacks it, then the other company which is left will escape." And Jacob said, "O God of my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, the Lord who said to me, 'Return to your country and to your people, and I will deal well with you.' I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies and of all the truth which you have shown your servant. For I crossed over this Jordan with my staff, and now I have become two companies. Deliver me, I pray, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he come and attack me and the mother with the children. For you said, I will surely treat you well and make your descendants as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude." So this is Jacob's prayer to God for protection and preservation of himself, his wife, his children, and all that he has. So verse 13 he says, "So he lodged there that same night and took what came to his hand as a present for Esau his brother: 200 female goats, 20 male goats, 200 ewes and 20 rams, 30 male camels with their colts, 40 cows and 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys and 10 foals. Then he delivered them to the hand of his servants. Every drove by itself, and said to his servants, 'Pass over before me, and put some distance between successive droves.' And he commanded the first one, saying, 'When Esau my brother meets you and asks you, saying, To whom do you belong, and where are you going? Whose are these in front of you?' Then you shall say, They are your servant Jacob's. It is a present sent to my lord Esau, and behold, he is behind us.' So he commanded the second and the third, and all who followed the drove, saying, 'In this manner you shall speak to Esau, and you will find when you find him. And also say, Behold, your servant Jacob is behind us. For he said, I will appease him with the present that goes before me, and afterward I will see his face. Perhaps he will accept me.' So the present went over before him, but he himself lodged that night in the camp. And he arose that night and took his wives, his two female servants, and his two wives, his two female servants, and his 11 sons, and crossed over the ford of Jabbok. He took them sent them over the brook and sent over what he had. When Jacob was left alone, and the man wrestled with him until the breaking of the day. Then Jacob was left alone, and the man wrestled with him until the breaking of the day. Now, when he saw that he did not prevail against him, he touched the socket of his hip, and the socket of Jacob's hip was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, "Let me go, for the day breaks." But he said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." So he said to him, "What is your name?" He said, "Jacob." And he said, "Your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have struggled with God and with men and have prevailed." Then Jacob asked, saying, "Tell me your name, I pray." And he said, "Why is it that you ask about my name?" And he blessed him there. So Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. Just as he crossed over Penuel, the sun rose on him, and he limped on his hip. Therefore, to this day, the children of Israel do not eat the muzzle that shrank, which is on the hip socket, because it touched the socket of Jacob's hip, and the muzzle that shrank. This brings us to the end of chapter 32. So, chapter 32 basically talked about um, Jacob's journey to meet his father and him learning that Esau is also on his way to visit him. So he made a strategy on how he was going to divide his people and his possessions, his gifts, so that he will be able to appease Esau before he gets to Esau. And perhaps Esau's heart would have softened towards him because he heard that Esau was coming with 400 men. 400 men. You have no idea what that meant for someone whose birthright is stole, whose blessings is stole. That could mean he was not going to escape. But at least he knew that his servant and his male servant and his men servant and his flock did not harm Esau. So he decided to put them before him and present his gift so that at least by the time he gets to Esau, Esau's heart would have softened towards him. So now, chapter 33 says, "Now Jacob lifted his eyes and looked, and there Esau was coming, and with him were 400 men. So he divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and the two maidservants. And he put the maidservants and their children in front, Leah and her children behind, and Rachel and Joseph last." So he did the presentation according to how much he loved them. He put Rachel last because he doesn't want Rachel to die before Leah. So it was actually partial, you know. And verse 3 says, "Then he crossed over before them and bowed himself to the ground 7 times until he came near to his brother." So what Jacob did was he went ahead of his children because he didn't want anything to happen. In case Esau wanted to kill him, he should kill him before he gets to his family. But he still did the arrangements of the family according to how much he loved them. So verse 4 says, "And Esau ran to meet him and embraced him and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept. And he lifted his eyes and saw the women and the children and said, 'Who are these with you?' So he said, 'The children whom God has graciously given your servant.'" Can you hear now? Jacob was calling himself a servant to Esau because he knew, and he knew that is on the wrong side of Esau, and so he submitted himself in respect to Esau, currying his favor. And let's see whether Esau favored him. So verse 6 says, "Then the maid servant came near, they and their children, and bowed down. And Leah also came near with her children, and they bowed down. Afterwards, Joseph and Rachel came near, and they bowed down. Then Esau said, 'What do you mean by all this company which I met?' And he said, 'These are to find favor in the sight of my Lord.' But Esau said, 'I have enough, my brother. Keep what you have to yourself.' And Jacob said, 'No, please. If I have found favor in your sight, then receive my present from my hand, inasmuch as I have seen your face, as though I have seen the face of God, and you were pleased with me. Please take my blessing that is brought to you, because God has dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough.' So he heard him, and he took it. Then Esau said, 'Let us take our journey. Let us go, and I will go before you.' But Jacob said to him, 'My Lord knows that the children are weak, and the flocks and herds which are nothing are with me. And if the man should drive them hard one day, all the flock will die. Please let my Lord go ahead before his servant. I will lead on slowly at a pace which the livestock that go before me and the children are able to endure until I come to my Lord in Seir. Remember, Jacob said this until he comes to his Lord. That means until he comes to Esau in Seir. Okay. So now verse 15. And Esau said, now let me live with you some of the people who are with me. But he said, what need is there? Let me find favor in the sight of my Lord. So basically, Jacob doesn't trust Esau. He told Esau to go ahead, that he will continue his journey slowly. Even when Esau offered to leave some of his men with Jacob, Jacob said, there is no need, my Lord. I am good, because he doesn't know whether those people were going to slaughter him or change their mind, or I don't know. Maybe they are also agents that are monitoring him. So verse 16 says, and Esau said, now let me, 15 says, and Esau said, let me leave you with some of the people who are with me. But he said, what need is there? Let me find favor in the sight of my Lord. So verse 16, in verse 16, so Esau returned that day on his way to Seir, and Jacob journeyed to Sukkot, built him a house and made booths for his livestock. Therefore, the name of the place is called Sukkot. Jacob said he was going to come to Seir to see his brother, but he went to Sukkot. Okay? Now, verse 18, then Jacob came safely to the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan. When he came from Padan Aram, and he pitched his tent before the city, and he bought a parcel of land where he had pitched his tent from the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. And he erected an altar there and called it El Elohe Israel. El Elohe Israel. So that brings us to the end of chapter 33. So in chapter 33, Jacob and Esau made peace, and Jacob was able to come to where his father was, and he bought a land and also pitched his tent in that land. So chapter 34 says, now Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she had brought to Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. It's common for ladies to try to build community wherever they go to, meet new people and mingle, So Dinah did the same thing. She went out to see the daughters of the land. Obviously, she's the only girl in her father's house that was mentioned. I don't know the other daughters, but it seems like she's the only daughter that was born to Jacob. So verse 2 says, and when Shechem, the son of Hamor the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her and violated her. His soul was strongly attracted to Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the young woman and spoke kindly to the young woman. So Shechem spoke to his father Hamor, saying, get me this young woman as a wife. And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah his daughter. Now his sons were with his livestock in this field. So Jacob held his peace until they came. Then Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out to Jacob to speak with him. And the sons of Jacob came in from the land when they heard it, and the men were grieved and very angry, because he had done a disgraceful thing in Israel by lying with Jacob's daughter, a thing which ought not to be done. Because in those days, they used to marry as virgins, and they didn't just used to sleep with anybody before marriage. So it was an abomination to them. Okay? So verse 18 says, but Hamor spoke with them, saying, the soul of my son Shechem longs for your daughter. Please give her to him as a wife. And remember, the rule of of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob is they marry within their own community, within their own family. They don't marry outside. Okay? So Dinah being defiled by a foreigner was double abomination. First, defilement; second, a foreigner, an uncircumcised person for that matter. So that was serious sin against them. So verse 9 says, and make marriages with us, and give your daughters to us, and take our daughters to yourselves. So you shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade in it, and acquire possessions for yourself in it. Then Shechem said to our father and our brothers, let me find favor in your eyes, and whatever you say to me I will give. Ask me ever so much dowry and gifts, I will give according to what you say to me, but give me the young woman as a wife. So Shechem was really in love with Dinah, and he wanted to marry. He doesn't care how much they requested. He was ready to give everything just to have her as his wife. In verse 13, but the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor, his father, and spoke deceitfully. So they are repeating what their father did. They were deceptive. So, because they had defied Daniel, their sister, and they said to them, we cannot do this thing to give our daughter, our sister, to one who is uncircumcised, which is true. For what will be, for that will be a reproach to us. But on this occasion, we will consent to you. If you will become as we are, if every male of you is circumcised, then we will give our daughters to you, and we will take our daughters to you, your daughters to us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people. But if you will not heed us and be circumcised, then we'll take our daughter and be gone. And there was pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son. So the young man did not delay to do this thing because he delighted in Jacob's daughter. He was more honorable than all the household of his father. And Hamor and Shechem, his son, came to the gates of their city and spoke with the men of the city, or their city, saying, these men are at peace with us, therefore let them dwell in the land and trade in it. For indeed the land is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters to us as wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only on this condition will the men consent to dwell with us, to be one people, if every male among us is circumcised and they are circumcised. Will not their livestock and their property and every animal of theirs be ours? Only let us consent to them, and they will dwell with us. And all who went out of the gate of his city heeded Hamor and Shechem his son. And every male was circumcised, all who went out of the gate of his city. And to me, this was their own sincere way of doing things. They didn't even mind the pain of being circumcised. They accepted what Hamor and Shechem said, and they all circumcised themselves, so that Shechem, a man who they value, will be able to marry the lady he is in love with. Okay? So verse 25 says, now it came to pass on the third day, when they were in pain, that the two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, each took his sword and came boldly upon the city and killed all the men. And they killed Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah from Shechem's house and went out. So that means when he defiled Dinah, Dinah remained with them. She couldn't come back home again because she was no longer the virgin, the pure girl who was being covered in the house. So verse 27, the sons of Jacob came upon the slain and plundered the city, because their sister had been defiled. They took their sheep, their oxen, their donkeys, and what was in the city and what was in the field, and all their wealth, all their little ones and their wives, they took captive, and they plundered even all that was in their houses. Wow, this was really great. Then Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, you have troubled me by making me obnoxious among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites, since I am few in number. They will gather themselves together against me and kill me. I shall be destroyed, my household and I. But they said, should we treat our sister like a harlot? Premarital sex is similar to harlotry. So they were right. And this brings us to the end of chapter 34. So this chapter 34 is basically about Dinah losing her virginity, the son of the land where they stayed, and the son of the land which is Shechem requesting to marry her, even pleading. So they said I was willing to give anything they requested for bride price. However, the children of Jacob did not agree, even though they pretended to agree, and they ended up killing that whole household, the household of Hamor at Shechem, and they took their sister back. So now we move to chapter 35, which is the second to last chapter for today. Then God said to Jacob, arise, go to Bethel, and dwell there, and make an altar there to God, who appeared to you when you fled from the face of Esau your brother. And Jacob said to his household, and to all who were with him, put away the foreign gods that are among you. Purify yourselves and change your garments. Then let us arise and go to Bethel. And I will make an altar there to God, who answered me in the day of my distress, and has been with me in the way which I have gone. So they gave Jacob all the foreign gods that were in their hands, and the earrings that were in their ears, and Jacob hid them under the terebinth tree, which was by Shechem. And they journeyed, and the terror of God was upon the cities that were all around them, and they did not pursue the sons of Jacob. So Jacob came to Luz, that is Bethel, which is in the land of Canaan, he and all the people who were with him. And he built an altar there and called the place El Bethel, because there God appeared to him when he fled from the face of his brother. Now Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died, and she was buried under Bethel, below Bethel, under the terebinth tree. So the name of it was called Alon Bachut. Then God appeared to Jacob again when he came from Padan Aram and blessed him. And God said to him, your name is Jacob. Your name shall not be called Jacob anymore, but Israel shall be your name. So he called his name Israel. Also, God said to him, I am God Almighty, be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall proceed from you, and kings shall come from your body. The land which I gave Abraham and Isaac I shall give to you, and to your descendants after you I give this land. So it was when Jacob came back to the land that God told him to go to, that God had given this promise. Okay. And then God went up from him. This is verse 13 now. In the place where he talked with him. So Jacob set up a pillar in the place where he talked with him, a pillar of stone, and he poured a drink offering on it, and he poured oil on it. And Jacob called the name of the place where God spoke to him Bethel. Then they journeyed from Bethel. And when there was but a little distance to go to Ephrath, Rachel labored in childbirth, and she had a hard labor. Now it came to pass, when she was in hard labor, that the midwife said to her, do not fear, you will have this son also. And so it was, as her soul was departing, for she died, that she called his name Ben-Oni, but his father called him Benjamin. So Rachel died and was buried on the way to Ephrath, that is Bethlehem. And Jacob set a pillar on her grave, which is the pillar of Rachel's grave to this day. Then Israel journeyed and pitched his tent beyond the tower of Eder. And it happened, when Israel dwelt in that land, that Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard about it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12, and the sons of Leah were Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel were Joseph and Benjamin. The sons of Bilhah, Rachel's servants, were Dan and Naphtali. And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's maidservant, were Gad and Asher. These were the sons of Jacob, who were born to him in Padan Aram. Then Jacob came to his father Isaac at Mamre, or Kirjat Haba, that is Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac had dwelt. Now the days of Isaac were 180 years. So Isaac breathed his last and died, and was gathered to his people, being old and full of days. And his sons Esau and Jacob buried him. So Isaac had just 2 sons. This brings us to the end of chapter 35. So I'm glad that Jacob was able to get home before his father Isaac died. So it was good that he followed God's commandment and was able to see his father and every other person before his father died. Chapter 36. Now this is the genealogy of Esau, who is Edom. Esau took his wives from the daughters of Canaan: Ada, the daughter of Elon the Hittite; Aholibamah, the daughter of Anna, the daughter of Zibeon the Hivite; and Basemath, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nebajoth. Now Ada bore Eliphaz to Esau, and Basemath bore Ruel, and Aholibamah bore Jeus, Jalam, and Korah. These were the sons of Esau, who were born to him in the land of Canaan. And Esau took his wives, his sons, his daughters, and all the persons in his household, his cattle, and all his animals, and all his good which he had gained in the land of Canaan, and went to a country away from the presence of his brother Jacob, for their possessions were too great for them to dwell together. Wealth is in their genealogy. Remember, Abraham and Lot had the same issue that they had to move far away from each other. Now, the same issue happened with Esau and Jacob, that they had to go, that Esau had to carry himself and his household and his possessions far away to a new country. Imagine being too wealthy and that you can't dwell with your brother in the same country. That is great wealth. Okay. So verse 7 says, for their possessions were too great for them to dwell together, and the land where they were strangers could not support them because of their livestock. So Esau dwelt in Mount Seir, and Esau is Edom. And this is the genealogy of Esau, the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir. These were the names of Esau's son: Eliphaz, the son of Ada, the wife of Esau, and Reuel, the son of Basemath, the wife of Esau. And the sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Sepho, Gatam, and Kenaz. Now Timah was the concubine of Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bore Amalek to Eliphaz. These were the sons of Ada, Esau's wife. These were the sons of Reuel: Nahat, Zerah, Shammah, Mizah, and Mizah. These were the sons of Basemath, Esau's wife. These were the sons of Aholibama, Esau's wife, the daughter of Anna, the daughter of Zibeon, and she bore to Esau Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. These were the chiefs of the sons of Esau. The sons of Elaph, the firstborn son of Esau, were Chief Teman, Chief Omar, Chief Sepho, and Chief Kenaz, Chief Korah, Chief Gatam, Chief Amalek. These were the chiefs of Eliphah in the land of Edom. They were the sons of Ada. These were the sons of Reuel, Esau's son: Chief Nahat, Chief Serah, Chief Shammah, and Chief Mizah. These were the chiefs of Reuel in the land of Edom. These were the sons of Basemath, Esau's wife. And these were the sons of Aholibama, Esau's wife: Chief Jeush, Chief Jalam, and Chief Korah. These were the chiefs who descended from Aholibama, Esau's wife, the daughter of Anna. And these were the sons of Esau, who is Edom, and these were their chiefs. These were the sons of Seir, the Horite, who inhabited the land: Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anna, Dishon, Ezer, and Dishan. These were the chiefs of the Horite, the sons of Seir, in the land of Edom. The sons of Lotan were Hori and Hamam. Lotan's sister was Timnah. These were the sons of Shobal: Alvan, Manahat, Ebal, Shepho, and Onam. These were the sons of Zibeon, both Ajah and Anna. This was the Anna who found the water in the wilderness as he pastured the donkeys of his father Zibeon. These were the children of Anna: Dishon and Olibama, the daughter of Anna. These were the sons of Dishon: Emda, Eshban, Itran, and Shiran. These were the sons of Ezer: Bilhan, Zavan, and Akan. These were the sons of Dishan: Uz and Aran. These were the chiefs of the Horites: Chief Lotan, Chief Shobal, Chief Zibon, Chief Anna, Chief Dishon, Chief Ezer, and Chief Dishan. These were the chiefs of the Horites according to their chiefs in the land of Seir. Now these were the kings who reigned in the land of Edom before any king reigned over the children of Israel. Bela, the son of Beor, reigned in Edom, and the name of the city was Dinhabah. And when Bela died, Jobab, the son of Zerah of Bozrah, reigned in his place. When Jobab died, Husham of the land of the Temanites reigned in his place. And when Husham died, Hadad, the son of Bedad, who attacked Midian in the field of Moab, reigned in his place. And the name of the city was Havit. When Hadad died, Samlah of Masrekah reigned in his place. And when Salam died, Saul of Rehoboth by the river reigned in his place. And when Saul died, Baal-Hanan, the son of Akbor, reigned in his place. And when Baal-Hanan, the son of Akbor, died, Haddah reigned in his place. And the name of his city was Pau. His wife's name was Mehetabel, the son of Matred, the daughter of Mezahab. And these were the names of the chief of Esau according to their families and their places by their names: Chief Timnah, Chief Halva, Chief Jethet, Chief Aholibama, Chief Ela, Chief Pinom, Chief Kenaz, Chief Timon, Chief Mibzar, Chief Magdiel, and Chief Iram. These were the chiefs of Edom according to their dwelling places in the land of their possession. Esau was the father of the Edomites. And chapter 3, this brings us to the end of the Bible study today. Chapter 36 basically told us about the genealogy of Esau, which had not really been discussed in the past time because we focus on Jacob's story when he ran away and all that transpired between him and his father-in-law. So I hope you enjoyed today's Bible study. Remember, this is what we do practically every day of the week. And we just finished reading the book of Genesis, chapter 31 to 33. And tomorrow we're going to be studying the book of Genesis as well, but this time from chapter 37 to 42. I hope you enjoyed the reading of this word. And chapter 37 to 30 to 43. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow again. I wish you the best. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.